Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Caroline Garnett McGraw, and I'm from The Clearing. And today I want to talk with you about should I stay or should I go? How to decide. So, what I'm going to offer you today is a mental and emotional framework for how to decide whether you should stay present or step away in a challenging or difficult situation. I want to talk about how you can feel confident knowing if you should stay or if you should leave. And the reason I want to talk to you about this today is because as of the day I'm recording this, December 14th, the holiday season is coming up. And we get a lot of questions from our participants about setting boundaries with the people in their lives. What's healthy and what's not with their families of origin, with their friends, with their partners. A lot of times they're not sure. And with good reason, because for many of us, if we grew up in dysfunctional households with dysfunctional family dynamics, we don't really have a super strong sense for what healthy boundaries look like. So there's a lot of confusion as we start to recover from, what should I put up with? A lot of times is what people ask us. They get frustrated. They're thinking, is this too much? Should I just, suck it up and just get through this holiday? Or should I take myself out of a situation that I know is going to be really difficult and challenging for me? And what I want to say right at the outset is that there is no one right answer here. Obviously, life is complex and we're all different. And I can't possibly know your exact situation. So take all of this with a grain of salt. Take what works, leave the rest. But I do also want to say that this is not about just leaving and throwing up your hands and walking out whenever things get hard. Because sometimes when things get tough in relationships, that's the point where love really tells you, okay, I need to stay present. I need to hang in there. And I need to really give this a shot and show up and be brave. So this is not about copping out either. What it is about is making an informed decision for yourself as to whether this is where you really need to be and whether you're taking good care of yourself in this holiday season. So the reason I want to tell this story is because it's one of the things that stood out to me the most when I spent time at the farm. And in case you haven't heard of The Clearing before, it is a non-12-step residential dual diagnosis addiction treatment center on a beautiful working farm on San Juan Island in Washington State. And I had the very good fortune of being one of the participants for the August 2016 session. And when I went, one of the co-founders, Betsy Kelzer, was talking about this time in her own life where she was in a situation where people were yelling at each other, hurling insults. It was just a very dysfunctional and dramatic situation. And she said what she had learned through her recovery journey, her journey through healing from substance abuse and underlying core issues, was that she knew what to do in this situation. And the exact words that she said, I wrote them down because they stood out to me so clearly, was she was watching this situation with people yelling and fighting and just completely trashing each other. And she said, "My precious self can't be here for this. My precious self can't be here for this." And she said it in this very tender way, just this maternal, caring sense of, little Betsy can't be here for this. And she went on to explain this idea that while, of course, we're no longer 5 years old, we've grown up, we're all functional adults, there is a sense in which we remain 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. We all still carry those younger selves within us. And our parents are done raising us. They had their chance to parent us when we were 5, when we were 6 and 7. But now it is our turn. We're the adults in the relationships to our own inner children, right? Follow me here. It gets kind of loopy. So we're the parents now. We are the parents of our own inner children. And so the question we have to ask ourselves is, should my precious child be here for this? Or if that's too inward looking, you can think of it as, would I bring my friend's child into a situation like this? Would I bring them into a space where people are throwing things at each other? Would I bring them into a space where people are using insulting and derogatory terminology and verbally abusing each other? I don't think so. I don't think you would do that. So that is your litmus test. That is your way of knowing. Should you be in a situation? Well, if you're not sure, consider whether or not you would bring an innocent child into that situation. And if you wouldn't, I would strongly encourage you to think about leaving that situation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean leaving the relationship right away. It might mean saying something like, I'll be willing to talk to you as soon as you stop yelling. I'm not going to be here for yelling, but I'm willing to continue the conversation when you've calmed down. It's not saying I'll never speak to you again, but it's honoring the part of yourself that is vulnerable and that needs your love and needs your care. Because a lot of times we think as adults, it means we need to dig in our heels and grit our teeth and be really strong. And that's all well and good if you're training for a marathon, if you're pushing through something that is difficult at work. But when it comes to your personal relationships, there's no value in just subjecting yourself to pain for the sake of pain. It's not purposeful. So again, my encouragement is be the parent you have always wanted for yourself. Honor yourself. Love the precious child that you were and that in some sense you still are. So I wish you a very wonderful and happy holiday season. And just before we close, I'm just going to glance over at the comments and see if I can reply to some of them, because it's hard to obviously read and talk at the same time. So I'm going to look over at the comments. Mandy is saying, is this about addiction and relationships? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. Because a lot of times when we're dealing with addiction and substance abuse, the driving reason behind that are these feelings of grief, sadness, loss, trauma, despair that we haven't addressed that are connected to our relationships. Maybe we're mourning from the loss of a loved one or a partner. Maybe we are unable to heal from abuse that we've never acknowledged. Absolutely, there's this intricate relationship between addiction and relationships. And oh, Donna, thank you for listening too. Oh, yes. Excellent. Mandy, yes, we hope that you can get exactly what you need, and you can always give us a call, free confidential conversation at the clearing. If we haven't spoken to you already, we're always happy to speak to you. All right, everyone, thank you for watching and for listening. Have a wonderful, safe, and happy holiday. Take care of your precious selves. Thank you.